Hello, in this video I will be explaining how you can use three very basic but very powerful techniques in neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, to help you generate more leads for your businesses and also how you can eventually close those sales. Now, within the dimensions of neuro-linguistic programming, it's all about how language is used and how it's perceived for it to have its desired effect. And NLP has many different facets, which actually can really embolden and strengthen and make the communication that much more powerful, which will be extremely beneficial within a business context. And I fully understand and realize that within the current environment that we are in, that it's really important that we obviously take heed of anything to do with communication, anything to do with how we understand people, perception, listening skills, active listening. All these are absolutely critical in the use of NLP. And what I'm going to just demonstrate to you now is the use of three techniques that hopefully you'll find useful. The first one refers to modalities. Okay, now everybody has their own preferred way of perceiving information, of actually perceiving intelligence that will then convert itself into language. And one of the ways that I want to mention to you now is the preferred representational system that we have, which in the acronym form is called VACOG. So the V stands for visual, A, auditory, K, kinesthetic, O, olfactory, and G, gustatory. So, for example, if I just give you some illustrative examples of how you can use each of these preferred modalities within a sales context. So, for example, using visual, you could obviously say to your potential client, well, can you imagine what this would look like? Can you see what I'm seeing? So you're tapping into their preferred representational system where if they see it, then there's a better chance for them to believe it. Now, with auditory, this is really about saying things like, well, I can actually hear the engine roaring. It sounds fantastic, doesn't it? Or I can hear the sweet taste of success. So whichever way you coin the phrases, you're tapping into the auditory modality, which could be the most dominant for that particular individual. Or kinesthetic, you could say, well, have you really got a feel for this? Can you really feel those leather seats, for example, if it's trying to buy a car? Or can you feel yourself feeling better in yourself, either emotionally, mentally, or physically? In terms of olfactory, again, you're kind of asking them to kind of imagine that they can smell it. So, for example, somebody who wants to start their own business, maybe their own mini bakery or something like that. Well, can you actually smell those cakes, the sweet, the actual sweet smell of the beautiful cakes or the bread baking in the oven, and how your customers would react to that? I know for me, I love the smell of freshly baked bread, and there's been quite a lot of it around recently, as we're all inside at the moment. So, you know, the olfactory, try to go more into that side of things. And, you know, wouldn't it be worth it to try to invest in a business where people can just be bowled over by the smell of fresh bread or cakes as they walk past your store or walk past your shop? Gustatory, in terms of the taste, in terms of, again, literally, can you actually taste that bread? You know, or how that customer would feel if they actually tasted it. What do you think that their reaction would be? Or can you taste can you taste the success of something, or the or you know, whatever you've actually mapped out or planned out as part of your business? It's about tapping into the gustatory. So the VACOG is a really useful framework to be able to look at different utterances that you can use to potentially try to sway a client, a customer, into your direction. The second technique is called anchoring. So anchoring is really about trying to get somebody into a particular state. And obviously, from a sales point of view, a preferred state where they're more likely to listen to you, to be emotionally connected with what you're saying, and also for them to eventually be so bowled over that they actually want to do business with you. They actually want to take on board your products and your services. So with anchoring, what I tend to find quite useful is when you are leaning closer to the customer, that you're appearing to listen more intently, then you're basically anchoring to the positive aspect of what you're trying to sell. But if you're leaning back, then it shows that maybe you're not really yourself in a positive state, or you're not really trying to convey the virtues or the benefits or the attributes of what you're trying to sell. So simply by just anchoring yourself, maybe just leaning forward and just trying to have a little bit more closer eye contact and showing that you're intently listening to your client. And obviously I fully understand at the moment we're all using Zoom, GoToMeeting, we're all conducting our business online, so it can be easily be done as I'm actually showing to you now in terms of this short video, how you're able to use anchoring. And it really is about trying to get that, maybe even trying to get the client to slightly move forward. Say, I can't quite hear you. Would you mind just repeating that again, please? So if you're leaning forward, then they're going to be leaning forward, and you're getting them into that anchored state where it's all going to be positive and hopefully getting to that all-important agreement or sale. And the last technique really involves the NLP proposition of the map is not the territory. And this is, in a way, very similar to fixed mindset and growth mindset. So sometimes when you are talking to a client and you know that they're in their own little world, that is their map. But obviously for you as the person who's trying to sell something, it is not that their world is not their world, the way that you see it, or what actually is the world in terms of how it could actually, if they made those small steps in that leap, then they could then have a better life. They can have better health. They can have something which is going to be of value to them, to value to their lives and to their well-being, to the well-being of their family, etc. So it's really important that that when you are establishing rapport with the client, and again, rapport, mirroring, matching, that kind of element is really important to try to get that interaction going and that warmth, and showing that you're actually actively listening, so you can hold that person's attention. And when you've got that, then you can then slightly take them, and you may want to use some of the modalities, some of those structures to actually help you to get the student the client to imagine, how life could be different away from how they normally view things. So, for example, if they have no intention of, maybe purchasing your online course or your product, then just kind of go through some of the benefits of that service and the product, and also maybe go through some case studies of other people. Now, this is very important for growth mindset development, is you bring in ambassadors or role models or people who've tried and tested it, and see if that connects with the individual, or even trying things out for free. See if that can help them to shift the map into a more wider and broader territory. Okay, so in this short video, that's just 3 basic techniques that you could use in neuro-linguistic programming to help generate leads and hopefully close those sales in whatever business context you are in. Now, if you would like to learn more about these techniques, I've written a short ebook, a short handbook in an e-form. I have a version which is readable, and I also have an audio version as well. So if you're interested in having access to this book, then if you follow the link in the description box, then it should take you to the store part of my website, and all of the details are on there. Trust me, you'll find this handbook really, really useful. And again, in this current environment where we're all trying to get a perspective on what's happening, but there's an opportunity to really delve deep and to really look at things like our communication and how we are presenting ourselves, how we are showing up to the audience, to the wider public, and to use these little techniques, little communication hacks, just to enhance yourselves as sellers, people who are offering a service, and then just judge the reaction. And even though it may not work the first time, keep trying it again, because NLP offers lots of techniques, and practice makes perfect. So I'm sure you'll be able to create your own utterances. You'll be able to create your own kind of a framework that really works for you. And if for example you don't manage to close sales even though you generated the actual leads, it's always worth evaluating, well, what happened, and also to go back to the client, what was it then that made you decide not to go forward. And that's really good evaluation for you to do some further analysis on as well. Okay, thank you then, take care, bye.